finalists in the women's beam competition, and the second gymnast to go was the best in the preliminary stage. Ettore Torsdottir of the Netherlands. 13.9 was her score, the second best. The anti-penultimate gymnast in this final, Jayla Hang, 13.8, so little to separate them. And indeed, Jennifer Williams of Sweden also produced the same number, just with higher difficulty and lower execution. So that's as clear as mud, frankly, and it's going to be great fun finding out.
We'll continue our program with the final on balance beam. Please welcome the finalists. Prva finalistica predstavnica Austrije. The first finalist representing Austria, Selina Kickinger.
We will begin. Selina Kickinger of Austria will start the final, the 7th best in qualifying, and a finalist in the all-around competition at the last European Championships in Rimini, Italy.
The second finalist representing the Netherlands, Ettore Torsdottir.
What a privilege to have a 4-time European Championship medalist here in Ettore Torsdottir, the top qualifier with a score of 13.9.
Treća finalistica predstavnica Malezije. The third finalist representing Malaysia, Te Cadence Jichi.
Representing Malaysia, a very impressive young gymnast, Cadence Tezici, who is the reigning Malaysia Games all-around champion.
The fourth finalist representing Sweden, Jennifer Williams.
Now representing Sweden, the third best in qualification, Jennifer Williams, the 19-year-old from Greater Stockholm, who is one of the most well-loved gymnasts for her artistry and her style. The reigning Commonwealth Games balance beam champion, Australia's Kate McDonald, 4th best in qualifying.
The sixth finalist representing the United States of America, Jayla Hang.
From the United States of America, Jayla Hang, the second best in qualification and a medalist on beam at the Pacific Rim Championships last year.
The seventh finalist representing Finland, Maisa Kuusikko.
From Finland, Maisa Kuusikko, the 6th best in qualification. She was a medalist on the uneven bars yesterday.
Osma finalistica predstavnica Nizozemske. The 8th finalist representing the Netherlands, Naomi Visser.
The 5th best gymnast in qualification will be the last to go, Naomi Visser of the Netherlands. The Olympian, who has been twice on a European Championship podium with her team. And she's also been on the balance beam podium in Osijek before. That was in 2023. Again, it's poised to be a really engrossing competition. I really hope you've been enjoying all of the action from Osijek, and I'm very grateful to you for your company. My name's Olly Hogben, and I'll be talking you through the remainder of the finals today, but don't let that put you off. It's a lovely event, this, isn't it? Looks the part. It's got a great crowd. And being moved from the Challenge Cup level up a tier, or part of a tier, if you will, because it's still part of the overall World Cup calendar, but it's gone from being World Challenge Cup to World Cup. It then means that it's even more enticing a prospect for the very top gymnasts to come and attend it. So anyone who's qualified for any of these finals already, they've done a grand job in what's a record-breaking year of attendance for this competition. Back in 2017, she was a runner-up at the European Championships on this apparatus. Now, at the age of 26, Ettore Thorsdottir, the top qualifier.
Ništa, dragi cilja, evo tamo ima navijačica svih vrsta, neću te nagovarat, preuzmi odgovornost. Za sada je situacija ovakva, 2400 Švicaraca...
We just caught a glimpse there of a 15-year-old from Malaysia, Cadence Ziji, who's very focused on the Southeast Asian Games. Jennifer Williams of Sweden. Gymnast who made several finals in World Cup competition as part of the Olympic qualification process. Had a really good go at trying to get to Paris. She's competed at 3 World Championships. I know there are many of you out there watching who are enormous fans of the young Swedish gymnast on account of the just air of finesse and flair that she brings to all that she does. Zelina Kickinger of Austria.
The first finalist representing Austria, Zelina Kickinger.
The 23-year-old is from Innsbruck, and she has competed at 3 European Championships, 3 World Championships, a national champion on the uneven bars. She participated in the vault final yesterday. Let's see how she goes. Oh, what a confident beginning that was. This is the performance of a gymnast who is absolutely going for it. The choreographic elements are bold, they are well at peace with the rest of the routine. She's had a couple of tough holds, like the wolf turns there. She also had that with her acrobatic series earlier on, but she's really clamped down on her position. It's not a tentative display. What a nice start. That's a very compelling way to begin a balance beam final. Zelina Kickinger of Austria kicking it off, and kicking it off very tidily. You just sensed right from the mount that she was on song. Even here, it's a strange thing, but I don't know about you, I didn't think for a moment she was going to come off, even though there was a little adjustment. She seemed to be absolutely secure of how to make those adjustments. The side Sami, that was much more in line. Got close to bringing the legs up to horizontal. Twisted round with purpose to finish. Does lose a little clarity of form in the twist positions and leg separation. but very well performed.
Naša draga Selina Jurina je s trenericom. Evo ga, slide. Halo, halo. Igec, dobili smo iz srce. 13:066, neodlična prva pozicija.
No surprise, that's better than qualification. 13.066. She's gained almost 2/10. Eto'o Torsdottir. Here is the top qualifier. 13.9. The silver medalist at the European Championships in 2017. One of 4 medals that she's won on the continental stage. What a poised and fluid beginning. Really got the legs up to horizontal there. Some nice work. Quickly into the turn. It's lovely, you get these little balletic positions thrown in, a classical arabesque. The whole thing has got a style and performative quality to it. Free walk over into another good jump where the legs go towards horizontal with purpose. It's going to be very interesting to see how close she can get to that qualification score, because her execution was huge in the preliminary round. Really nicely performed that from Eto'o Torsdottir. It was one of the lower scoring routines in terms of difficulty during qualifying, but the execution was an 8.6, and that was overwhelmingly the highest execution score. So there are gymnasts to come who will be able to post higher difficulty, but there was just a great deal of clarity to this performance from the experienced gymnast from Rotterdam. You have to go back to Ljubljana in 2015 for World Cup honours for Torsdottir. Little details like the way that she brings the legs to the horizontal position. And then lovely to see actually in slow motion some of the choreography, because it shows the level of detail in what the arms and the hands are doing. Gets around with no issues at all, twisting to the dismount. There we go, she's done it again. That is such a strong display. 13.9, the execution's down a tenth, the difficulty's up a tenth.
Treća finalistica, predstavnica Malezije. Third finalist representing Malaysia, Cadence Zichi.
Cadence Zichi of Malaysia, the 8th best in qualifying. Congratulations to her on winning the Malaysia Games all-around title last year. And beam was crucial to her success. She scored 13.45 on beam, which was the best by 1.2 of all of her routines. So we're very privileged to get to see her on what is something of a signature apparatus. How nicely done. Good save. Just perhaps had a moment of hesitation coming out of the walkover. Again, what a poised save that was. It was quite piked and in danger of coming off the apparatus, but she made light of it. There was a newspaper article written about Cadence Tay after her triumph at the Malaysia Games, and the essence of it was she's very humble, she's quite quiet, but you must never for a second doubt the ferocity, the determination inside her. And I think we saw that in that display there. This is a big moment for her. First World Cup competition, she's made the final, and she went out and delivered an extremely impressive performance. Only 15 as well. Jolly well done. All of those adjustments are naturally going to cost her execution. You might have just seen there, beyond the line of her head, the Malaysian delegation in the crowd watching on and breathing every moment of that. There they are, sitting on the steps. Well done to her. 12.866 in qualification. And it is now extremely clear how it was she won that title at the Malaysia Games, with being so integral to it. 12.533. It's a little drop from qualifying, but that's a very credible first full international final.
Četvrta finalistica, predstavnica Švedske. The fourth finalist representing Sweden, Jennifer Williams.
Now to Sweden's Jennifer Williams. The third strongest in qualification with 13.8. But the difficulty in the preliminary round was 6.2. So she certainly has room to challenge the lead. Oh, great save. Made light of that. A trickier one. But this is so compelling to watch. That was some fine stability in the wolf turns. regrettably, there are just a few little moments here and there that are probably adding up from an execution point of view. Oh, what a dismount. It certainly had moments that were brilliant. It did have some execution issues. She did superbly to stay on the apparatus. It's a bold performance in terms of what she's actually packing into that routine.
You have 30 seconds each.
And she's another gymnast who's been on the radar for such a long time that we run the risk of forgetting that she is only 19 years of age. So she's in the younger crop of gymnasts in this final. She's going to be a fine acquisition to the American collegiate scene. That's due to happen in the next year or so.
Doduše nije napravila veze, ali eto, to je tako, nekad je i rizik kad radiš stvarno teške elemente, nekad sjednu perfektno, nekad greškom i čekat ćemo da vidimo pravi zbroj.
Evo ga, 13.300, trenutno druga pozicija. Second place here for Hogben.
There's no doubt that the difficulty is going to be a lot higher than Torsdottir. 13.3 for Jennifer Williams. She is in second place, difficulty 6.1, so as expected, 7/10 higher than Torsdottir, but not quite as high as qualification, just 1/10 down. So it is Torsdottir, Williams and Kickinger who are 1, 2 and 3, and Torsdottir has delivered a performance that is going to be very hard to surpass. But Jayla Hang is coming up and she'll have a real go at it.
Zagrijavanje je završeno. The warm-up is over. Please continue competition.
Lovely that we get to begin the second half of this final with the reigning Commonwealth Games champion on beam. We then go to a Pacific Rim medalist on the apparatus. Then to somebody who has a fine collection of Nordic Championship honours and somebody who is a European Championship medalist. Kate McDonald of Australia won bronze on the uneven bars yesterday, but now she attacks this final as the reigning Commonwealth Games champion on beam. The very experienced and much respected gymnast from East Melbourne in Victoria competed at the Olympic Games in Paris. She, like the gymnast who will go after her, is a Pacific Rim Championships medalist too. She mounts the apparatus with control. .13.1 in qualification. That was the fourth best There's a sharpness to this display from McDonald. Oh, and regrettably, a little oscillation on the horizontal axis in those wolf turns eventually took her off. Very minute. She's a gymnast with so much experience that getting straight back on the apparatus like nothing happened, it must just be completely ingrained and intuitive. It was a very well performed display that from Kate McDonald. Unfortunate that she came off on the wolf turns, but she does depart this weekend of competition as a World Cup medalist. Let's look back at it. Switch leap mount was right on line. A small balance adjustment coming out of the aerial.
A to je doslovno. Ništa, napravit ćemo je vegemite sandwich I to je to. We wait for the results, of course. Thanks for joining us for the second Finals Day in Osijek. We hope to see you again next year, because we will be the official competition for the World Cup and Olympic Games.
Here's a moment where just a little slip and away she went. It's always so marginal, especially on beam.
Ona je također imala jednu lijepu vježbu, nema se šta reći, mislim da će to biti ipak od djevojke koja je na prvom mjestu manja polazna ocjena, međutim sve skupa je bilo dobro. Da je odradila sve kako treba, to bi bilo opet unutar 3.
Gledam sad vidim po novome između sudaca pregrade, 12:133, 5. pozicija, 5th place at the moment.
Kate McDonald picks up a score of 12.133 and she's in 5th position. Jayla Hang of the United States of America scored 13.8 in the preliminary round, the second best. Bronze medalist at the Pacific Rim Championships last year in what was such a strong first senior outing on that stage. Candle mount to begin, always gets appreciation from the crowd. It's one of those things you can guarantee in any gymnastics competition. It will get pretty much the same gasp wherever in the world you are. What a good start this is. Side aerial, well performed. She attacks every aspect of this. There is nothing tentative. Oh, yes! Come off it. That is cracking. I think we've got somebody who is planning on disrupting the podium as it currently lies. Marvellous double pike to conclude. She is ever such an exciting prospect from Washington State and the Pacific Northwest, Jayla Hang.
Dobri kombinacija, veza akrobatike I samoga naskoka nekako čini nešto drugačije.
Let's enjoy this, and my word, there's a lot to enjoy about it. Very nice form in the candle mount. The arch at the back lends a sense of balletic grace to it. She's well aligned in the wolf turns.
Iskorištena maksimalno akrobatski, tako da će ovo biti visoka ocjena.
A u redu, naravno, ako zasluže uvijek volimo kad su dobre ocjene. Samim time tijelo
This is particularly exciting because she's going off axis, if you will. There is that twisting of the body in the tuck position, which must make for a real challenge in staying in line. Still keeps the toes pointed as she jumps.
Ja bih rekao da se njoj sviđa u Osijeku, da zato ona toliko sprava do finala do ovog vrlo.
Baš sam to čitala jučer, prije 2 tjedna u Antaliji bila je u sva 4 finala.
Her difficulty in qualifying was 5.7. We contrast that with the 5.4 that we've seen in this final from Torsdottir.
A njoj moramo početi ulaz naplaćivati već u finale.
So if Han can get a little increase in her execution score from the preliminary round, then she's going to make a run for top spot. But either way, that was excellent. And she knows it. She's been around long enough to recognise a quality performance when she sees one. Oh, so close. 13.766. Jayla Hang in the silver medal position by only just over a tenth of a mark. Torsdottir holds on. Williams into third. And we have 2 still to come. From Finland, the teenager Maisa Kuusiko.
The 7th finalist representing Finland, Maisa Kuusiko.
She's mostly performed on the uneven bars since a knee issue a while ago, but more and more the beam has been creeping back into her work. And it's great to see. She's very strong on this piece. Her difficulty in qualifying was 4.8. That would be the lowest of anything we've seen so far. She did well to adjust there. Not as intended, the mount. As I was saying, it would be the lowest of anything we've seen so far. So a lot will come down to the crispness of the execution. Was very close to going a bit out of control, and the transition back to standing looked slightly uncomfortable. But otherwise, this has been a most assured performance. Oh, that's a lovely dismount for Maisa Kuusiko. That's got to be one of the most secure conclusions to a beam routine we've had in this final. The 19-year-old. As we look back at her performance. She's been a national championship medalist on every apparatus. Certainly best known internationally for her very exciting uneven bars work, and we saw the evidence of that yesterday. She did ever so well to steady that.
Podijelili su se tamo dame, čekaju konačne rezultate. Majza jučer se sigurno razveselila, bila je druga, srebro je osvojila kod nas. Nekako mi se čini da je jučer puno bolji dan imala.
The execution in qualifying was 8.166. It will be interesting to look at that in the light of this performance. These little moments here and there of struggle with clarity, it's likely to be a fair bit lower, except on that lovely dismount. 12.3, and indeed, yes, the execution has dropped by well over half a mark, close to 3/4. Now we go to the last performer. So, Thora Thorsdottir and Jayla Hang guaranteed a place on the podium. Jennifer Williams waits to see what will be produced by Naomi Visser, who scored 13.033 in qualification, which is about a quarter of a mark below that which is currently required for bronze. We are going to be getting right the way to the conclusion. That could be significant, though. Gets it back together nicely with that side somersault. Well, that has likely solidified the podium. So much of what's gone on around it, though, in this routine from Naomi Visser has been very precise and composed and good to watch, as it so often is with her. She's what one might call now a young veteran at 23, with the amount of competition experience she's had, cemented by making it into the top 10 in the all-around competition at the Olympics. And that brings to a close this very enjoyable beam final at the Osijek World Cup. Regrettably for Naomi Visser, she will take a full mark deduction. But she's another of the crop of gymnasts for whom this is the start of the next stage of their process. Some of the athletes who didn't make it to Paris naturally began effectively their training for the next Olympic Games earlier than a lot of other gymnasts did, because those who made it to the Olympics, by and large, have had a little rest period after it. They've had the opportunity to perhaps complete their studies, to do some travelling, to just spend time with loved ones and catch up on that which happens outside of a training gym. And so everyone is almost embarking upon the race at different stages. There are some who are almost responding to the starter's gun here in Osijek, and there are others who are already well and truly on lap one.
možda bi bilo drugačije da smo radije komentirali, ali bilo kako bilo, natjecanje na ovoj spravi je za nama. Pogledat ćemo i konačne rezultate. Mislim da i one već znaju, kulenice su spremne, nakon ovoga ćemo podijeliti medalje. Čisto da bude na ekranu službeni rezultat, pa da onda znamo...
A Dutch champion was guaranteed anyway before the start of the routine.
Evo malo da popije odmori, posljednja pozicija, uvjedljivo 10.800. Danke well known me, tot ziens.
10.8 is Naomi Visser's score. And that brings to a close this beam final, and a hugely special moment for a gymnast whose only other World Cup medal was a gold one in Ljubljana in 2015. How's that for longevity? She works out what to do with the water bottle. Let's have a look back at how she won the gold medal. She certainly knew what to do with this beam routine.
Congratulations. Viš kako je 13.900. Ne može niko reći da je bilo nesuvereno. Tina, odradili smo gredu. Što ti još imaš od radnih zadataka za dame danas?
Danas još imamo odraditi tlo, još jedna graciozna sprava u kojoj ćemo imati puno toga za pričati i pogotovo artističnosti i tu imamo i glazbu, tako da je to još jedan bolji ugođaj.
Kako bi Hrvati rekli, highlight.
The classified results in the women's beam competition. Bronze won by Jennifer Williams of Sweden. The silver medal goes to Jayla Hang of the USA, and the gold to Ethora Torsdottir of the Netherlands.
Svečanost proglašenja pobjednica u disciplini greda. Award ceremony for balance beam.
The award ceremony for the balance beam competition at the Osijek World Cup.
The medals will be presented by Mrs. Jasenka Crnković, Deputy Mayor of Osijek.
Nice to be able to welcome the Deputy Mayor of Osijek to lead the presentations.
In the third place, winning the bronze medal, representing Sweden, Jennifer Williams.
Sweden's Jennifer Williams, the winner of the bronze medal. Such a complicated routine, the most difficult that we saw of anyone, thoroughly earning its place in the top three.
Na drugom mjestu osvajačica srebrne medalje, predstavnica Sjedinjenih Američkih Država. In the second place, winning the silver medal, representing the United States of America, Jayla Hang.
From the United States of America, Jayla Hang wins another World Cup medal. The gymnast who performed so well in Antalya delivered a great display in this beam final to take silver.
Na prvom mjestu osvajačica zlatne medalje, predstavnica Nizozemske. In the first place, winning the gold medal, representing the Netherlands, Ethora Torsdottir.
The gold medal won by Ethora Torsdottir of the Netherlands. A decade on from her first World Cup triumph, she is once again a champion. It was a performance of extraordinary poise and control. 8.5 the execution score.
Dame i gospodo, poslušajmo himnu Nizozemske. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to, please stand for the national anthem of the Netherlands.
The medalists in the balance beam competition at the Osijek World Cup. The finalists in the women's floor competition and the top performer in qualification, Yali Shoshani from Israel. A score of 13.4 for the FIG World Cup debutant. Can she hold off a real challenge from some very strong gymnasts like Jayla Hang, who was the second best in qualifying with 13.2. Let's have a look at the contenders.
To begin with the final floor. Please welcome the finalists. Prva finalistica predstavnica Češke. The first finalist representing the Czech Republic, Sonja Artamonova.
Representing Czechia, Sonja Artamonova, who competed at the Olympic Games in Paris. She was the 5th best in qualification, and she first won the national title on floor in 2023.
Turkey, Nazlı Savranbaşı.
Another Olympian, Nazlı Savranbaşı from Turkey. She was the 8th best in qualifying with a score of 12.3.
The third finalist representing Great Britain, Jemima Taylor.
From Great Britain, Jemima Taylor, the 3rd best in qualifying and the runner-up at the national championships.
Četvrta finalistica, predstavnica Austrije. The 4th finalist representing Austria, Charlize Mertz.
More Olympians. This time it's Charlize Mertz, who competed in Paris, having qualified through the floor route at the World Cups last season.
Predstavnica Izraela. The 5th finalist representing Israel, Yali Shoshani.
What a display in qualification from 16-year-old Yali Shoshani of Israel. 13.4, the best in the field.
Šesta finalistica, predstavnica Nizozemske. The 6th finalist representing the Netherlands, Eitora Torsdottir.
But here is a real treat for all of you who enjoy the artistry and artistic gymnastics. You're going to get to watch an Eitora Torsdottir floor routine.
Sedma finalistica, predstavnica Austrije. The 7th finalist representing Austria, Selina Kickinger.
Selina Kickinger of Austria, 7th best in qualification. And she's played a big part in the finals this weekend in Osijek. She's done ever so well.
I 8ma finalistica, predstavnica Sjedinjenih Američkih Država, the 8th finalist representing the United States of America, Jayla Hang.
Silver medalist on floor at the Pacific Rim Championships last year, Jayla Hang of the USA, and the 2nd best qualifier for this final.
You may start warming up.
Time to begin the warm-ups. We've got some enormous experience in this field, like Eitora Torsdottir. We've got a brand new senior in Yali Shoshani. A look there at Sonja Artamonova, who has actually won a World Cup title on floor. That was in Szombathely in 2023 in Hungary.
Kaki frajeri i frajerice, super. Sada ako mogu dići ruke oni koji se još uvijek bave gimnastikom.
We're going to see Jemima Taylor, who we just got a glimpse of there. The runner-up at the British Championships and also the all-around bronze medalist at the Welsh Championships.
Da, moram nešto reći i to što bi prije trebalo. Policija moli vlasnike dva vozila da dođu do svojih vozila. Jedno ima registraciju, to je Opel Astra SL 741BG, dakle Opel Astra SL 741BG, a drugo je Suzuki Vitara Osijek 550 RC. Dakle, još jednom ponavljam, policija moli vlasnike da dođu do svojih vozila.
Molimo da dođete do svojih vozila.
Charlize Mertz will be the last to complete her warm-up process. She will be the final gymnast to go in the first half of this women's floor competition. The first Austrian woman to win a World Cup gold medal.
Tako je, naime, cijela Hrvatska, cijeli naš stručni kadar, licencirani treneri, suci, imali su mogućnost znači svih klubova saveza da budu tu. Savez im omogućava i prijevoz i smještaj i radionice da pače, tako da je ovo jedan...
The last women's final here in Osijek, and it's about to begin. Sonia Artemonova of Czechia, fifth best in qualification with a score of 12.8. She has been a World Challenge Cup champion on floor. Sometimes as a sports commentator you say phrases that you're aware are blindingly self-evident, and one of them is this next one. Sonia Artemonova used to be a ballet dancer. It is so easy to tell, isn't it? That's actually how she started, moved into gymnastics from ballet, and it is crystal clear in the beautiful execution of her dance that she has. Unfortunately, she did have some issues with stability, first of all coming out of a split turn, and then she did completely go to ground and will incur a full mark deduction. But it must be celebrated how glorious her dance work is. Put that to one side for a moment and just enjoy the theatricality of what she does, the classical balletic elegance.
Opet pričamo o artističnosti koja čini jednu veliku razliku danas među gimnastičarkama. Naime, sami cilj Svjetske gimnastičke federacije je bio da jednostavno da traju duže gimnastičarke. I to su s nekim promjenama...
She did so well to qualify for the Olympic Games. It was accomplished at her debut World Championships in 2023. I mean, that's a great piece of evidence as to how much promise she has. She is still not yet 18. 11.633 is the score. It is a drop of over a mark from qualifying for obvious reasons. Nazli Savrambashi from Turkey, who made her Olympic debut in Tokyo.
Representing Turkey, Nazli Savrambashi.
12.3 in qualification, the 8th best. From Turkey, Nazli Savrambashi. She won the all-around national title for the first time in 2020. And that was the same year, and I'm sure many of you remember it, that Göksu Uçtaşyanlı won the silver medal on floor at the European Championships. Some good purposeful tumbling work from the 21-year-old. Well judged landings by and large.
Tako da ovi okreti u čučnju su danas dosta atraktivni, međutim suci su jako rigorozni. Ukoliko se to do kraja ne završi ili imate malo amplitude da se dižete, kao i svi skokovi, tako da uvijek se oko priznavanja početne ocjene mora dobro pogledati i razmisliti. Ona nije imala nikakve velike greške, male greškice i naime u gimnastici ne postoji savršena izvedba i ona će imati određeni odbitak za artističnost, ali vidimo sada
The execution in qualifying was 7.5.
Vježbe, muzike, tako da to suci ne smije biti subjektivni, nego objektivni, da je pokriveno sve u jednoj vježbi.
Odlično, čekamo rezultate. Kadašev, Nasasem. Evo vidi, gdje? Šta pita, kako zna? Šta ti mi gledamo kod nas, svi govorimo. 12.433, prvo mjesto, first place at the moment.
And it's an improvement from qualification, 12.433 for Nazli Savrambashi. Up by just over a tenth. To Jemima Taylor of Great Britain.
Third finalist representing Great Britain.
The 16-year-old was a finalist on floor at the Junior World Championships of 2023. And she was the third best in qualification here. crowd absolutely love that. And she's always such a memorable performer to witness on floor, Jemima Taylor. If you think about the three routines we've just had one after t'other, they've all been so different stylistically, and that's lovely. And Taylor's starting to make a real presence as a senior. She was the runner-up at the British Championships on floor. She also did extremely well in the all-around competition at the Welsh Championships. She started her career at the City of Newport Gymnastics Club before beginning centralised training with Club Cymru Cardiff when she was 7. And there is idiosyncrasy to her work on floor. It's unusual and it's memorable, but at the heart of it is a very good tumbler. And that has to be there as well, obviously. There's the evidence of it. Yeah, she takes a little backwards movement, but the power is impressive.
We await the results.
12.866 in the preliminary round for Jemima Taylor.
Thank you.
Into the gold medal position goes Jemima Taylor of Great Britain. 12.6, and the best execution score we've seen so far. To the history-making Austrian gymnast who became the first woman to win a World Cup gold medal. She did it on this apparatus. It took her all the way to the Olympic Games. Charlize Mertz, who was the 4th best in qualifying with 12.833. I don't think it will surprise you to learn that her routine was the most difficult in qualification. Very evident in terms of the complexity of tumbling work, and she almost got the full way through it, the hands going down near the end. She's a gymnast of great athleticism. She tumbles so imposingly, and she really seems at home on floor. And she's another gymnast who is extremely in the early stages of her senior career, despite already being an Olympian. She is only 19. And it is clear that she's already now beginning the push towards a second Games. She's got varied and complicated tumbling passes.
Do koliko ste slova došli? Ima lista D, nešto još teže?
Ima, vidjet ćemo još dobrih akrobatskih vježbi, ali opet svi moraju, nitko nema pravo na grešku, tko želi osvojiti sami vrh.
Čekamo rezultate. We await the results. So we're going to see if there is any change on the podium. Vidimo i sektor jug je spreman, oni su najglasniji za ovog saveza.
Just not fully round, coming out of the pike position, hands going down. Charlize Mertz, 12.833 in qualification. 11.766 in the final. So at the halfway stage, Great Britain's Jemima Taylor is still leading with that hugely crowd-pleasing performance. And what's interesting is that we've still got to come the top qualifier and the second strongest in qualifying. Yali Shoshani, 13.4 in the preliminary round, the best score. The 16-year-old is new to FIG World Cup competition, but she did win the floor title at competition in Germany at the end of March. It really is high-octane, energetic gymnastics from Yali Shoshani. Big music, big choreography to go with it, and an exciting prospect coming through for the Israeli team. Some of you may remember her from the Junior World Championships in Antalya in 2023. And she did compete at the Senior European Championships last year. She also was part of the group of gymnasts that competed at the European Youth Olympic Festival. She does tumble well. Her execution was 8 in qualification. There were some little moments in this routine that will affect the execution score negatively. A few occasions where the control was like that, for example, not quite there as she landed, but it was fairly comparable with qualification. The score is 13.3, and indeed the execution score is 2/10 down from qualifying. She's only 1/10 down overall though, because she's lost a 1/10 penalty for going out of bounds. I said that we had great stylistic variation in this final. Now we bring you one of the most popular floor performers in the world, Eyþóra Thorsdóttir, the Dutch gymnast who has twice been on a continental podium on this apparatus. Whatever might happen from a tumbling point of view, the execution of the dance elements, the relationship with the orchestration is always compelling when you watch Eyþóra Thorsdóttir. A gymnast who is just a fabulous dancer and somebody with a sense of musicality. And there's the evidence of it. Wonderful to watch. Interesting, isn't it? Double front. First tumbling pass for Thorsdóttir, as we look at some of the more classical balletic work into the illusion turn. But yes, a new opening tumbling pass. It carries with it some challenges, and that's obviously completely expected at this stage of the campaign. Beautiful height and back bend there. This has certainly got the potential to be an enormously memorable routine. And she's somebody who's had a lot of enormously memorable routines. Twelve and a half in qualification. It's Shoshani, Taylor and Savrambashi at the moment. Savrambashi doing really well as the 8th best qualifier. Isn't it wonderful? She's the oldest gymnast in the final, Eyþóra Thorsdóttir, but even she is adding to her skill set, developing her gymnastics. And that's what I was saying at the very start of the broadcast, that gymnasts will get things right and wrong. They're all at different points in the journey in terms of getting ready for Los Angeles. 12.2 is the score for Thorsdóttir on this occasion. But if you're making that kind of adjustment to your tumbling and you're putting in a double front tuck and then the hands go down there, well, that's That's going to happen, isn't it, from time to time, especially in the early stages. Zelina Kickinger of Austria, 12.433 in qualification. It's a very engaging performance, a very nice choice of orchestration with choreography that is clearly designed to evoke that particular style of dance. She's a gymnast who seems to be entering a really interesting phase of her career where she's becoming more high profile, where she is clearly an absolute linchpin of the team, where we're seeing her appear in more finals, and it's all really encouraging. And it is great to be memorable, to try to be different in what you do stylistically. And she certainly does that, and she achieves it. Still Shoshani leading, then Taylor, then Savrambashi.
Evo, kome hoće, 12.700, druga pozicija, second place.
12.7. Zelina Kickinger is on the podium. So Savrambashi moves down into fourth, Taylor goes into bronze, and the Austrian is guaranteed a medal at the Osijek World Cup. Congratulations to Zelina Kickinger. But what an interesting finish it could be, because here comes Jayla Hang, who scored 13.2 in qualification, and 13.3 is the leading score. So Yali Shoshani now watches and waits. Striking conclusion to this women's floor final, coming courtesy of Jayla Hang of the United States of America. She's got some unusual tumbling going on in this routine, and some very memorable tumbling, some highly impressive tumbling. She does some particularly nice twisting work. Isn't that interesting? Full twist to back handsprings to a double tuck. Mid-pass twisting. But I think what is so interesting is that Jayla Hang has focused an enormous amount on the overall presentation, on this, on the dance work. To not be simply an acrobat, which she certainly is, but to be a real performer theatrically on floor. And she's reaping the rewards of that. She's becoming so much more complete.
Wait for the results, it has to be on Instagram. Sve je to spremno for social media. Nema druge. Trenutak istine za koji trenutak doslovno. Sve se može promijeniti na našem podiju. 13.466.
Well, I think she's got it. She certainly has. 13.466. All of that work has paid off. Jayla Hang, you are a World Cup champion on floor. Isn't it lovely to see that when a gymnast focuses on being a performer as well as being a fine acrobat, and it comes together and the numbers start to back it up. She was drawn to gymnastics through being acrobatic, and now she is drawing us as viewers to her floor work through the dance. Not that that isn't fantastic, by the way, just in case that was in any doubt. We won't stop talking about the tumbling. It's just that we'll now talk even more effusively about the lovely performative quality that goes alongside it. Superb.
Trenutačno je apsolutna prvakinja, uzela nam je sve, 2 parkirna mjesta, hotelske sobe, sve je uzela. Bravo. Well done, Jana, you're leading in this one.
The classified results in the women's floor competition. The bronze medal won by Zelina Kickinger of Austria, silver to Yali Shoshani of Israel, and the gold medal, very marginally, going to the hugely impressive Jayla Hang of the United States of America.
Congratulations, coach. Nice money arriving soon at the accounts. A dame i gospodo, svi oni koji vole sjajnu gimnastiku znaju da ide uvijek i dodjela medalja, a nakon toga još jedna sprava prije nego se rastanemo.
The award ceremony for the women's floor competition.
Award ceremony for women's floor exercise. Medalje će uručiti gospođa Trisha Hayes, tehnički delegat, odnosno predstavnica tehničkog odbora Svjetskog gimnastičkog saveza za ženske discipline. The medals will be presented by Mrs. Trisha Hayes, FIG Technical Committee representative for the women's events. Treće mjesto i brončana medalja predstavnica Austrije. In the third place, winning the bronze medal, representing Austria, Selina Kickinger.
Congratulations to Zelina Kickinger of Austria onto a World Cup podium with an excellent performance on floor. A real milestone moment this for the 23-year-old.
Drugo mjesto i srebrna medalja predstavnica Izraela. In the second place, winning the silver medal, representing Israel, Yali Shoshani.
Yali Shoshani of Israel, new to World Cup competition, new to the senior circuit, and already a World Cup medalist.
Na prvom mjestu osvajačica zlatne medalje predstavnica Sjedinjenih Američkih Država. In the first place, winning the gold medal, representing the United States of America, Jayla Hang.
Jayla Hang of the United States of America has won another World Cup title, her first on floor.
Dame i gospodo, poslušajmo himnu Sjedinjenih Američkih Država. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to, please stand for the national anthem of the United States of America.
The medalists in the women's floor competition in Osijek.
Naše dame su odradile svoj posao za danas. Molim vas, veliki pljesak za sve ženske natjecateljice koje su bile u Osijeku na svim finalima.